Hey everyone, what's going on? Viana here, and today we're going to do a super quick recap of Mecha Break Season 0 live stream dive. So essentially, if you did miss this stream, you can check it out, or you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy a brief recap with your boy. Now, keep in mind, we are going to keep this information very limited. If you want to see or get more information, we'll have individual videos, so check those videos out. If there's something that you're looking for and you don't see it, hey, let me know, comment, and maybe we can get that in the video. All right, without further ado, let's jump into it. So first off, they started the stream off recapping the last stream where we learned a little bit more information regarding, the 12 strikers that'll be free day one and such like that. Now, the really cool thing here is they kind of just popped off with a nice little trailer, showed off some new maps. We saw about 5 new maps for 6v6, and I think about two new maps for a 3v3? I could be completely incorrect with that, but they did show some new maps for 6v6 and some cool things for 3v3. Now, in 3v3, you will now be allowed to, and again, 3v3 is ace mode. In ace mode, you'll be able to switch strikers in between lives now. So that's very different, and it's only something that you're able to do in ace mode. I'm excited to see what kind of shenanigans that's going to bring to the game, because it's going to be really cool. Now, throughout the stream, we did see some finishers. We saw Illuminate finisher, we saw Inferno finisher, it looks really cool. We also saw one of the new 6v6 maps, Poseidon Army, where it basically talks about water type adaptability. Yes, now the game has adaptability for lunar, space, and aquatic, and each striker has its own cost, or excuse me, its own rating. And depending on its rating, depends on how well it can perform in said circumstances. So if you have a higher aquatic rating, you're probably going to be able to do things underwater a lot better, but they also mentioned transforming strikers cannot transform underwater. Meanwhile, lunar is more of on the surface of a moon, perhaps, and you'll get bonuses to your speed and whatnot depending on your rating there. And last but not least, there was a space rating, but they mentioned that's not actually implemented into the game, but strikers will have that space thing. So I'm kind of curious of what that's going to be like. Fingers crossed, because in the day, you're going to have to understand, if you don't have good water adaptability, your mobility goes down, your damage goes down, and it's going to be hard for you to get back up. But of course, you use a platform. But that map was like super cool, underwater map. Very, very excited. Now they did mention, because of the feedback from Ace Arena, is what they're implementing these changes, where now module weapons can now be located with new maps, with new events and instances. So this is similar to Mashmak, where you'll find random modular weapons, but keep in mind, when you die, you lose the weapons. Okay, so that is that. I also saw a new combat map. It looks like some air blocks that drop from mid-air, but you can get injured by these. Think of like a Tetris map, or the actual training map where you have like the grid. That's what you actually be playing, and it's actually super, super cool. I'm really excited to see more of that. Now, there was also a new map being shown where I believe some of the module weapons showed up after maybe 30 seconds or so in the ace match, but they did mention, module weapons completely random, so play with the mix between that and change your strikers up, and you'll have some fun. In other news, they did mention that Operation Storm, aka Mashmak, Operation Storm Mashmak is basically the first map for this. They've changed entire mechanics, the respawn points. They added a lot of spawn points. They changed the module weapon system. Similar to Ace Arena, you can pick up the items and use them right away. So keep in mind, because timing and use of the weapons will be very important. Now, there was a lot of lore related to bosses, strikers, and whatnot. Heavy strikers and colossal bosses usually require teamwork, and there's 3 different difficulties, which we covered in the previous video. That is essentially normal, hard, and extreme. Depending on your combat readiness, if your loadout exceeds a certain number of combat readiness, you'll be unable to play in that particular difficulty range. Also, I mean, it's to be expected. It's essentially like power level. Once your power level becomes too high, you won't be able to go into another easier mode unless you take off the equipped items that boost your range. Now they also mentioned executions can allow you to loot enemies and NPCs with an increased item of drop chance, I believe. Also, when you execute an enemy, that stops their allies from being able to revive them. Now they did mention autocannon has been weakened, and you lose modular weapons when you die. Because Mashmak is a typical extraction shooter mode, and there's combat aspect and mostly enemy AI units. For the very beginning, they'll recommend you avoiding player units, but the combat is the major gameplay here. Extraction will allow you to take the mods and other items with you. Extraction point used to be the only way to extract, but they alluded to more goodies. So I'm really excited to jump back into new Mashmak, because it was really fun. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we don't have to worry about people with higher level gear. So also, don't worry about your teammate ever taking loot, because everyone has their own loot. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And they also mentioned some Mashmak items can be sold on a marketplace to players or NPCs. That is really cool, dude. Speaking of which, they did mention that you can save visuals and save your visuals and sell them on the marketplace for other players to purchase with in-game currency. That's super cool. I love it. And again, if you did miss it, there's a new elite enemy. It's a ship that flies around. It's like a helicopter / carrier style ship. It's really cool. And in Mashmak, you can earn mission tokens with some of the green cans you can find. But yeah, there's a lot going on, but they didn't mention sliders, outfits, and colors. You can list your style preset in the auction house, and people can buy your outfits and appearances. But I'm really excited to hear that. It's really cool. And it can step on the market and be used or purchased multiple times. So that's really neat. They did shine a little bit light on base exploration, where you can walk around, take pictures, and now invite friends to your base. Yes. There is a gym you can unlock with a certain amount of credits, I believe. Man, top of my head, I don't remember. But now you can use some of those battle tokens, essentially, to unlock a gym and have some more interactions and whatnot in there. The mission tokens, of course, cannot be purchased using money. Has to be earned doing missions and battles. You can use the tokens for a gym access card, and you can interact with stuff in the gym for photos and stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like they probably should just let that unlocked, or make it so it's not an expensive unlock. So I don't want that to take away from me getting my strike. But again, that's everyone their own priority. There were some striker adjustments. They mentioned that there will be a melee reset. Melee weapons can now reset combos and all strikers to jump into boost the different attacks. They showcased how smooth the transition is now, and I'm very happy like that. Give me some Zone of the Enders vibe, but really cool. They mentioned Elysian's autocannon can now be charged while using a sword, so you can use different combos with that. Falcon's recon kit now shows all enemy units in the haze, terrain, and pulse storms, all updated to the teammates. It's really cool. I'm excited to see that. Another reason to be terrified of a Falcon. Now, Narukami has its grapple, but the grapple can now be used on an enemy as well, and it'll be used to stagger the enemy. They kind of just hop over the head, which is super cool. Low-key terrifying if I see one run at me, because they're going to stagger, do some super anime stuff, and go invisible and laugh at me and do the giggle. It's a shame. Now, Welkin has a defense field buff. It has a wider barrier, and it can now also parry and knockback with the shield. The melee won't do damage to the shield at first, and Welkin can attack through it. So you have to be very mindful of that. That slight change to Welkin. I'm actually terrified of Welkin. Welkin's a strong striker, in my opinion, but we'll see what happens. And Inferno, heck yeah, now using its, I forgot ability it was when it gets after images, it now grants immunity to knockback and stagger. It boosts armor and regeneration. I'm really excited. Super cool. And I think that's really dope. Now, they did mention they did lower Stego survivability. I think they mentioned Tricera, but Stego especially. They mentioned also, they amped up the mobility for Elysianus, Welcome Force has been prolonged. The cooldown time for the Field and Auxiliary 3. So for Falcon, the Spiral Descent costs more energy, so it can't be exploited constantly back to back. Really excited to hear that and see what happens. I want to see what everyone's feedback is, before and after we get hands on. I know this is a lot coming at you guys. We're almost there, and I promise, but the first 15 Strikers will be in Season 0, okay? There will be 4 seasons in 1 year. Each season will last 3 months, and each season will have new content. With that being said, during Season 0, mission tokens can be earned in 3v3, 6v6, and Mashmak. Those are used with the 3 Strikers. You can unlock those 3 Strikers. Mind you, you don't need to purchase the Battle Pass to obtain these Strikers. You can just use that currency and whatnot. Now, they also mentioned there'll be 6 different weapon skins, and 3 of them will be in store. So, quick recap. There's 10 different maps in Verge. 5 are new. 4 new maps in Ace Arena. And the Operation Storm Mashmak. They mentioned that the supply crates can be obtained to unlock patterns and symbols. Now, they did show off some of those. Panaka, Welkin, Sky Raider will have some really cool vanity stuff. You'll be able to see that in the video. And I think it's actually super, super cool. They mentioned when season change, items are sold out for cosmetic content. So I don't like the feeling of FOMO as much. But if you see something, make sure to work towards it and get it. But of course, you also saw the 2 new Strikers. We have Stellaris, which is a attacker with 2 katanas and a grappling hook that can kind of give a debuff to mobility to enemies, and also has a parry and a spinning counter attack. So I'm really, really excited to see this in play. Now, Stellaris is really cool. We'll have that a little bit more information in a separate video, along with same thing with Serenith, which is a light support attacker. Both of these Strikers have low HP and low defense, so they both will get rocked very quick. So be very mindful in placing yourself in your attacks, because Serenith is really cool because it has the orbital striking system and a rifle and a grappling hook. So again, we'll have videos with more information regarding those in depth, so make sure to check those videos out if you haven't done so already. Now, the official launch referral event to friends will allow you to obtain some insignias that can be applied to your Striker, and you can reapply it to various Strikers a limited amount of time, which is really cool. They also mentioned, Chris on stream mentioned that he'll be playing Mecha BREAK, and if you can beat him in a token race, you'll gain certain rewards. This also includes paints and patterns for various suits, and there will be 6 squad insignias you can unlock, and more will come to be unlockable in the future. Now, live stream drops will start July 1st or July 2nd, depending on location. There'll be cosmetic drops. And during that time, we'll be creating content for Mecha BREAK. May it be a live stream, or may it be fun videos with E.G. Magnum, Alshi, Jay Frost, Face, anybody that we've played with before, anybody who wants to play, we'll definitely get into it. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to no-life this game and try to get back up to Master and hopefully get Grandmaster relatively quick. Now, they did also reveal a animation of Mecha BREAK. The short animation will be released sometime in the future, but it featured Falcon Custom Falcon, where each Striker will have a custom variant piloted by a NPC or a character in the world. And so it was really cool because they wanted to give that to all Mecha friends around the world. But they did mention Steam Deck version is being worked on, so keep that in mind for Mecha BREAK as well. Also, I wanted to backtrack that Falcon Custom, 70% of its parts are completely different by design, and it's a friendly price. We don't have too much information on that yet, but keep an eye out and you'll find out more sooner than later. And again, the feature of Mecha BREAK will have Xbox and other consoles. PlayStation 5 will be launched at a later time, so keep an eye out for that announcement date, as well as Xbox and PC, because it starts next week. Yes. So again, before they round the stream off, they wanted to remind people Mecha BREAK was made to have fun. It was made out of love. This game was made from people's dreams. So they did mention how they wanted to allow China to have like a mecha series or IP for people to grow up with. And you know what? That's awesome. I love it. They definitely seem like they're lovers of all sorts of mecha and mechs. So hats off to Mecha BREAK team. You guys are awesome. If you're watching this video, you guys done good. All right, so everyone else, if you found this video useful, make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Shout outs to the Mecha BREAK team, and I hope you come back when we launch in our favorite Striker. So let me know what Striker you cannot wait to get your hands on, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay out of trouble and none but love. Peace.